For my second advocacy article, I chose Teaching Practices for ESL Students by Ellen Curtin. And basically this just talks about the correct practices teachers should use when they're teaching ESL students, and then it also goes into a study that happened in Texas. So first I want to talk about just the practices that have been proven to be successful. The first one of 8 is high level of verbal communication between teacher and students and among all students. So teachers should be able to talk to their students more than just the basic instruction that they do on the board. They need to be able to communicate with them like on their own level and just talk to them. And also students need to communicate with each other, especially ESL students. They learn a lot from talking to their peers as they're still learning the basic language. The second one is integration of basic skill instruction with instruction in other subjects. So while they're learning the basic skills of being in America, they need to also be learning their academic courses. So if you combine them, that really helps them relate both together. Number 3 is organization of instruction around themes. Thematic units, I think, would really help students see how everything connects together rather than just saying, here's this, here's this, here's this, and then them not knowing how that ever can be one thing. Number 4 is use of collaborative learning groups. That kind of goes back to number 1. If students are going to be learning together, they're going to be able to understand their language better by use of their peers, and they're going to be able to just understand what's going on around them more as they're talking to their peers. Number 5, students allowed to progress naturally and without pressure from writing in their native language to writing later in English. You wouldn't ask a kindergartner to write a 10-page paper because they can't. You shouldn't ask a student who speaks Spanish to write a whole paper in English. It's just not probable at all. Number 6 is highly committed teachers who act as student advocates. I would like to be that person someday. I would like to be someone who is an advocate for those ESL students who don't feel comfortable in the classroom, and I want to be there to support them. Number 7 is principal support for teachers. The mainstream teachers are going to get super frustrated with these students, not because they're mad at them, but because they don't understand how to help. And so the principal needs to be there to say, you're not failing, you're doing things right, you just need to keep focus and be patient. And number 8 is parents active in school activities. This goes for all students, I believe. Like, if parents aren't involved, like, students won't care as much. If they know they're going to go home and their parents aren't going to care if they got an A or a D, they're going to not care to try as hard. But with all that being said, this article also mentions that passive learning is still the main mode of instruction in the United States. And while it's proven that all these other ways to help ESL students and really just regular native speakers, we still do this passive learning where we stand at the board and we go over what we want them to do, and then we give them a worksheet. And so that leads into the study of it, which was basically at a middle school in Texas, and the students were in their 3rd year in English-speaking schools, and it basically just talked about how the students felt embarrassed in the classroom and they didn't understand quite yet, really. They didn't really see what was going on, and the teachers didn't really give enough examples. And then the students felt that if they asked for more examples, the teachers would get mad. So they really liked their ESL teachers, but the mainstream teachers just didn't get it. And that's pretty much what the whole study says. I really liked that. I just thought it was great that there was someone in there who could still help them, even though they spend most of their time in the mainstream classrooms. There's still somewhere they can go in order to learn. I would like to use this article just maybe to even become an advocate for teachers, because just a lot of mainstream teachers aren't going to understand how to help these students because they just haven't been trained for it. And I have been trained for it. Like, I know how to help. I know what to do. And so to help those teachers help our future like politicians and lawyers and teachers, I mean, I think that's amazing. So I want to be an advocate for teachers, but then obviously I want to be an advocate for my students. I want them to know that they're going to succeed and we're going to help them succeed. They're not on their own here. We're with them. And they might not feel like that when they have mainstream teachers getting upset with them, and not because they're upset like at the students' inability to learn, but maybe they're frustrated with themselves and they don't know how to express that correctly. So this article I think was great, and I think it's something that people should read if they have an ESL student in their classroom. So that's pretty much it. I really enjoyed this article. As I said, it's a great eye-opener for someone who doesn't actually learn the ESL instruction that I have. I think that's it.